Multifamily Mindset
podcast. Think bigger.
Hello, and welcome back, my friends, to another awesome episode of the Multifamily Mindset podcast. I'm your hostess, Cyndi Maguire, better known as Cyndi. Show me the money, Maguire. I do wear a few hats. I'm a strategist at Multifamily Mindset, seasoned real estate investor, co-founder of Gold Bar Partners and Deal Dolphin, and mentor to many budding real estate enthusiasts. If you're new here, we're happy you found us and super stoked to have you join our ever-expanding network. Whether you're looking for inspiration, practical advice, or just a good story, you've come to the right place. At the Multifamily Mindset Podcast, we serve up fresh content twice a week to keep you hooked and pumped. Every Tuesday, we get to some real talk with interviews featuring students from our network, sharing their journey and wisdom they've picked up along the way. Then on Thursdays, our mindset guru, Dallas Pruitt, breaks down the mindset magic from those stories. But wait, there's more. Wednesdays are all about Own the Outcome, a killer podcast hosted by the one and only Tyler Deveraux, the brains behind Multifamily Mindset. Tyler chats up with top-tier individuals, digging into their journey to success and dropping some serious pearls of wisdom. So whether you're here for the knowledge, the inspiration, or just to soak up some expert insights, you're in the right place, where every episode is your ticket to leveling up in the world of multifamily real estate. So from the worlds of pink, let's get this party started. Today, we have an alumni of Multifamily Mindset, co-founder and managing partner of Gibby's Capital Investments, scuba diver, and loves vacationing with his beautiful wife all the way from Houston, Texas. Let's give a warm welcome to Eric Chadderdon.
Hey, what's up, Cyndi? Excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here because, well, let's just say you're one of our longest member student alumni of Multifamily Mindset. How long ago did you start?
So it was 4 years ago next month in October.
4 years ago. And was it all cut out to what you thought it would be?
I mean, yeah, that times 100. I didn't think my life would be here today. So very grateful for the path that was laid out for me.
Okay, I want to get more into that soon,
Okay.
But I want to give our listeners a little background of yourself. So if you can just please share with them.
Yeah, sure. So you go back, let's see, we'll take it back years and years ago. I actually got my first, it's funny, I actually got my first multifamily like coaching program, if you will, back in 2017. And, you know, I ended up doing nothing with it.
Well, wait, how old were you in 2017? Because you're a youngin'.
Yes. So I don't know. Let's see. I just know let's see. I had to have been, 4 years and then 3 years before that. So 7 years ago. So probably when I was 27 years old.
Oh, wow. You look like such a baby. I wouldn't have guessed you were that
Oh God.
old.
Yeah, I'm 34 almost. Cyndi, thank you for that.
Well, I just know you're old enough to be my child. So, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Okay.
2017, I bought my first like coaching program, and that was what like put multifamily like on the map for me. But I didn't do anything because, you know, in this business, there's something called fulfillment, and it's like what happens after, you know, the event or after you purchase the program. And I honestly, I felt like I was on this island by myself, like trying to figure out this business. And I just didn't have any support. And so I told myself that this is the business I want to do, but I just need new people to help me do it. And so 3 years went by and I didn't think about multifamily. It was always in the back of my head, but I never, you know, brought it to the forefront. And I just got consumed with my life, man. I did. You know, my business, relationship, like all these things just kind of took priority. And then,
So what business were you in?
So I was running a solar company.
Okay.
Like solar panels on roofs. And so I ran a company that, you know, did the sales to go put these like, you know, residential solar panels on people's roofs at their homes, and did that for several years and was pretty successful doing it. But, you know, anytime you're doing something for a long time, you're just kind of, sometimes you lose steam if it's not like your definite major purpose, if it's not like your true reason for, you know, waking up every single day. And it wasn't for me. It was just something
that Groundhog Day for you.
Yeah, I had this like epiphany. I was like, man, I need something that like sparks me again, something that like re-energizes me, right? And like, cause I was waking up for like 3 straight years, I was waking up and like dreading going to work and be like, this is just not fun. I'm not excited about going to do what I'm doing. And that's not a fun thing. I mean, if that's anyone listening right now, I'll tell you that's a clear red flag. That's a clear sign you need to pivot and change your path towards something that does bring you energy right when you wake up. Like, oh, you know what? I can't wait to go attack my day. That's what I want to go do. And until I saw Tyler Deveraux's face pop up on my social media in 2020, I hadn't had that feeling in a long time. And so,
What was that spark?
I saw an ad of Tyler,
What did
and
he say? What resonated to you? What he said?
you know, it I don't know if I can remember 4 years ago exactly what he said, but I can tell you, I can remember how I felt, and how I felt was that what he was talking about, buying these apartments, like what he was talking about was possible. That's what I felt. And he broke it down to where like I felt like someone that was like a future version of me one day. I was like, I could be like him one day. And he broke it down in a realistic, simplified version. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go check this thing out. And so I did. And I went and checked it out. And that was I went to a 3-day event in October of 2020. And the rest was history. And I wish I would have found Tyler the first time back in 2017. I think back to that all the time. Like, if I had 3 more years of doing this, where would I be today? Like, that's a scary thought in a
Well,
good
here's
way.
the thing. I knew Tyler back in 2017. And he wasn't even where he is today or
Yeah, yeah,
in
for sure.
2020. Like I knew him when he was doing single family and smaller multifamily
Hmm.
until he started doing the syndication model. And I just watched his portfolio grow exponentially. And I went, dude, I need to be a part of his story. And that's how I came on also back in 2020 with Multifamily Mindset. And you weren't my student, but I heard all about you because you were just always wanting more to do more. And you got your first deal in how long?
It was 7 months after I moved forwards. Yeah,
7 months.
7 months.
Okay. Tell me about that. How did that happen?
Well, Tyler talks a lot about Tyler talks a lot about how like value creation leads to wealth creation. And for me, I didn't know what that meant, but it was all based on value. So the first deal wasn't even my deal. It was actually Tyler's deal. And he had a big investor back out, a couple weeks before they were closing. And I had been building relationships with investors over the previous 7 months, submitting LOIs. They were getting rejected. I wasn't winning. So, naturally started feeling a little deflated. But then I had this opportunity to put my investors into that deal that Tyler had, the big investor back out. And it was so funny because Tyler, after we closed on it, and I ended up doing that. So I ended up putting the investors into his deal. And we closed on it. And it's so funny because Tyler's like, hey, yeah, you should go post on social media. And I was like, no, no way. Why? He's like, well, that you just closed on a deal. And I don't know about you, but like the type of individual that I am, like I don't like to like take credit for something that I didn't feel like I did. And in that moment, like I got brought in just a couple weeks before the deal was closing, just because I had some connections to some investors. And so in reality, in my head, all that I really did was take my contacts and put them on a Zoom call with Tyler. And I was like, I didn't do anything. I just didn't feel like I did. And Tyler stopped me. He's like, Eric, what are the key roles of the business? And I'm like, well, you got your acquisitions, your asset management, you need a sponsor, then capital raiser. He's like, what was that last one you said? I was like, capital raiser. He's like, exactly.
I
He's like,
think
you need to remember. Yeah, go ahead.
I think many people feel that way. You've heard the term imposter syndrome.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
that's it. But I'm glad he called you out on it because yes, that is part of our model.
And then he said something to me. It's what always stuck. He said, when he told me, he's like, yeah, one of them's capital raiser. That's what you did. He's like, we wouldn't have closed on this property without you. You are every bit a partner in this deal that I am. Go post. And I was like, I had like chills. I was like, man, like I look up to this guy and he just told me I'm every bit a partner in the deal that he is. And just made me feel good. And honestly, it was a confidence boost. And it gave me the motivation I needed to go pursue the next one. So that's kind of the story of the first deal.
So let me ask you, have you ever raised capital before? prior
No,
to?
no. But before this, I actually had a big fear of talking to people about money in general. It was an uncomfortable conversation for me to do. Coming from like a sales background, it was fine like asking people like, hey, to pay for this, but like for an investment was different. I almost felt like I was like I needed their funds. And when I was selling a product before, like I was looking at them as different, but really it's almost the same. We're providing a service and a product to them, giving them an opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really feel like that at the very beginning. So you hit it on the head, imposter syndrome. But man, it's like now that's like the part of the business that I love the most because it's what brings me the most passion is seeing what I'm able to do for these other folks, these people on the other side of the Zoom call, the other side of the phone. And like when you realize what you can truly do for them and their family and their personal situations in their lives, like that's what sparks like something inside of you that it just makes you want to share this with everyone you've ever come in contact with in the world. And when you have that, your capital raising skills will be limitless.
Yeah, as a strategist with MFM, I find that a lot of the students are just so fearful, overcoming that that asking people for money. I know the first time I started asking capital raising, that was get this, it was almost 14 years ago. I know, I'm that old. And my stomach turned for almost about a year because I've come from a family, not my immediate family, but my family outside of that, they don't really like talking about money because it's so personal. And then figuring out if they have money or not, or just other investors that you've met, because talking about money is so personal. It's very personal, just like talking about your boyfriend or girlfriend, or husband. It's so personal that I always felt like I'm intruding into their personal space, asking them about their financial situation and trying to help them improve it. But my stomach turned for a whole year. Plus, I hate rejection.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I found that the people that make money, they actually like thoroughly enjoy having conversations about how to grow their money. And so it's uncomfortable to us at the beginning, but once you like drop that barrier down, people get really excited about learning about passive ways and other ways. And they're like, oh, well, we have this funds here, we got these funds here, and maybe we can, pull these from both and then put it together and then, hit the minimum investment for the deal. And it's like, absolutely. Like, let's do it.
I'm going to agree with you on that. Growing up, my mom was always an investor as well in the stock market and in real estate. And our dinner conversations were always about making money. And I brought in a boyfriend to dinner one time, and he was so uncomfortable because we were talking about stocks. I was making fun of my brother who did the IPO for Facebook, and it dropped like 20%. And then we're talking about a potential rental property. And I think the later that night, my boyfriend says to me, "Does your family always talk about money?" And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." So I realized that there's other people in this world that are really uncomfortable about talking about it
Hmm.
because they don't want to accept where they are financially. So I find a lot of people are
Hmm.
in denial that they want to make more money, but they don't want to accept that they're here and they don't want anyone else to know. And then they just stay there because they don't know of any options because they haven't hung out with other people who know how to grow money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
agree
love
with you
that.
100%. Okay, so now you're a capital raiser and I see you you do posts on a regular basis because I do follow you. And
Yeah.
now you're like the capital raising king.
I do okay. Yeah, there's still so much room to grow, but
You're so
yeah, we,
modest.
we've done well. I'm grateful for where we've come, but I have 2 posts per day that go out on each platform: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also LinkedIn. Um, and you have 3 primary ones. I would say Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are my top ones right now. I'm working on getting bigger into YouTube for higher quality conversion, but it's been fun just learning it. I'm still very new at content and the game, but I'm definitely getting great feedback from it and seeing, more exposure because of it for sure.
So I'm gonna rewind a little and go back to October of 2020
Okay.
when you uh went to our 3-day workshop
Mm-hmm.
and they were telling you our system and how you can build wealth in multifamily investing. And you had a great strategist, Jed Johnson, good friend of
Yep.
mine as well. And he told me the story of you, and then you told me. But let's share how it all panned out when you were like, I think I can ish. I want to do it, but because at the end of the day, you have to make a decision which way you want to go. Do you want to make
Yeah.
money or not?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
agree with that. You always have to be able to make a decision. And it was a hard decision. I came before I went to that event, I was in a bunch of credit card debt, like a bunch. And I know there's a lot of people in credit card debt out there, and it's not like a foreign situation to be in, but like for me, it was like a dark cloud. I had lost a couple big investments in my mid 20s, and because of that, I started living off my credit cards. And so I racked up about $91,000 of credit card debt. And it was like a dark cloud. It followed me for years, and I paid off about half of it from like 2017 to 2020. And so I had, a good amount of available credit, not a ton of liquid cash at all, only a couple grand in my checking account, but the rest was all available credit. And then I went to the event and I was like, well, I can either invest this into myself and, you know, get some coaching from people that really know what they're doing, or I can go try to figure this out on my own and probably make mistakes that'll cost me a whole heck of a lot more. And so Jed helped me realize that, I'm going to pay for it either way, either out there in the real world or, in there learning how to do it the right way and surround myself with people that can help me do it. And it sounded like a better route. It wasn't easy to make the decision, but if I didn't do it in that moment, there's no way in heck that I would be where I am at today. Like, not even a chance, not even a chance. And so I'm just very grateful for, Jed helping me to get out of my own way and help me realize that my goals were much bigger than my excuses. And once he helped me realize that, I went full bore, I went all in, and I have not looked back at all. And I still
yes,
feel like I'm just getting started.
well, I mean, continuous growth, right? We always
Yeah.
want personal growth, and that's what I've always been attracted to you when we've talked about what else new are we working on.
Yeah.
But what I learned quickly on was that if you learn other skill sets, that you'll never have to worry about money
Mhm.
because you've got your skill set with your business. Now you have this next skill set with multifamily investing, and I know you're working on more stuff, public speaking and all this other stuff. So I mean, the more you're out there and the more that you can do, you'll never have to worry about money. So debt split, right?
It's so funny. Like, it's so funny the concept of debt. I was thinking about it. And like back in the day, I was scared to put, a little bit of money aside to pay for my education and things like that for multifamily. And I was like scared to do it, right? And then it's like I look at myself today and I'll go throw 30 grand on a credit card without blinking. It's because I've done it so many times now that I have the it changes you when you've done something like that and gone and succeeded. It changes you internally. Like, I am now a stronger, more confident, more powerful individual because I've done this so many times now. Like, I could go put 30 grand on a credit card for advertising costs or marketing costs or into a different form of education. And it's because I know Eric Chadderdon, the individual, will go follow through on those and turn that into a profit in some fashion, whatever it means. But I've just done it too many times to where now I have the personal confidence to go do it again and again. Whereas the old version of me would freak out even for spending a little bit of money on myself for education or training. But you have to be able to spend a little bit to surround yourself with people that know how to do bigger things, right?
But
So
how did you know you had the confidence in, I mean, you said you're going to go do it, but how do you know you're going to do it?
now is when I know I am. The hardest time to make that decision is at the beginning because you don't know you're going to go do it, right? And that's why you need to surround yourself with people better than you. And that's you're paying for proximity. Now that I've done it multiple times, and now I have the confidence in myself to go do it because I've anytime I put money back into myself, like a mentor once told me that the best piece of real estate that you can invest into is the 6 inches of real estate right between your ears. So invest into
Yes.
you. You know, the best investments I've ever made were investments into myself to make myself better, or to invest into myself and my community and my network, so I could grow at a faster pace.
Well, for myself, I view it as a business, and I've explained that to a few people. So, my business background and engineering background, most companies or businesses have a product, right? And every product has a life cycle.
Hmm.
So, what companies have is a group called Concept and Feasibility and Research and Development. And so, a lot of companies put a lot of money into concept feasibility and research and development to better their business, to get more market share, to improve their product. And so I view myself as a business, my own business of Cyndi.
Yeah,
And I know I put in a budget every year to invest in research and development, concept and feasibility. And that's how I look at it. Similar to
I love
you,
that.
but I know in order to be better, to grow, to have more market share, I need to invest in CNF and R&D.
Hmm.
And then with that, we get alpha, beta, and then we have our product, the new improved Cyndi. So
I
that's how
love that.
I like looking at it. So at beginning, when I look at the budget for the year of my business and how much I want it to grow, if I wanted to grow $1 million, how much do I want to invest in this business to make a million additional this year? So
Hmm.
you have to invest in yourself. You have
Yeah.
to invest in your business, or else you do the same thing over and over again, you'll get the same results and you're not going to grow.
Yep.
So that's
Agree
that's my
100%.
nerdy analogy.
Hey, no, but I love that because I've never thought about it like that. Like I've read a ton of books, listened to so many audiobooks, and I've never heard that except for by you. From saying like I create a budget for like my own self is a business, and I have a budget for my own business for me of infusion of information, research, all the stuff each year. I think that's genius. I
Or
love
even
that.
growing a business, right? So other businesses have other smaller businesses under that business. So I like to explore all these other avenues that may potentially grow me as a business. So, I like investing in other things
All
and
sorts of things.
doing all
Yeah.
that fun stuff.
I've always
So,
told people like, yeah, Cyndi, she makes money in 55 different ways. I can't even keep up with her.
and then I'm like, no, just like 16.
Yeah, but still, it's like 15 more than 99% of the world.
Because when you stop learning, you stop growing.
For
And
sure.
I, d- I don't like being bored, just like you doing your day in, day out, 3 years of solar. You're like, there's got to be more. There's got to
Hmm.
be more for me and what I can contribute to this world. So,
Yep.
okay, so let's go with tell me about this impact of multifamily mindset on you, because I've known you for almost 4 years, and I've seen so much growth. I mean, it is so cool, so fun to watch our students go from new new student to doing what they're doing, and I want you to share with our listeners how many students you have partnered, you have helped with, and all that, because we're a community of giving back.
Hmm. You know, sometimes when you're starting out this journey, you feel like you're all on your own. And I would say probably the number one factor that I felt was that I wasn't. And I did start this business by myself. I went to the event by myself. I've, spent money on the education by myself. But it was the least thing that I felt was that I was alone. And that's really important when you're starting anything new. And so first off, I felt like I gained a new family by joining, but also too, like, is it okay if I like tell where my portfolio is at now, or do you want me to wait for that, or?
You share all you want.
Yeah, so it's cool because now I've built a portfolio. I went from October 2020 to now we're in September 2024, and we just recently, a few months ago, crossed the 2,000 unit barrier, which is so
Yay.
exciting. That was one of my biggest goals, and so now we're at 2,043 units in the last 4 years. And it's been just an exciting roller coaster. Like there's been ups, there's been downs, and I'm grateful for everyone because like all the challenges we face have led us to where we are today and the type of operator and investor that I am today. Um, but yeah, I mean, in the last 12 months alone, I would tell you because now we sponsor deals new for newer people, and I just remember how much help that I got when I first started in the industry, and I just want to be a sliver of that same help that I got when I first started for other folks that come in, and because it's very hard to break into it if you don't have, the guidance or the community or the network of people surrounding you. So I'd try to be that for other people coming in. I think in the last just 12 months alone, I've I've helped over 35 students get into their first deal. It's probably more than that if I'm
So
honest, but
awesome.
yeah,
Yes.
it's honestly probably more than that if I'm being serious. But like minimum, probably 35 students in the last year get into their first deal by partnering with them and bringing them into deals that I'm working on as well. And for me, that's one of the most fulfilling things that has come from any of it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I've met many of the students that you've helped, and all they could do is just rave about you. And I'm like, yep, that's each chat. But you know what we talk about is you have gained another family. Like, we
Yeah.
always say you're my brother from another mother.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we haven't shared with our listeners our commonality.
So we're
We're,
both really tall.
a version of tall, yes, but that we're wedding buddies.
Yeah, yeah, we are wedding buddies. Yep.
We're wedding buddies. We used to say Tyler married us.
Oh yeah.
However, I did not marry Eric, and Eric did not marry me. Tyler officiated both our weddings on the same weekend in two different countries.
Yep.
How crazy is that?
It's so crazy. Which the only downside to it was that we couldn't go to each other's wedding,
I know.
but I was there in spirit, and you know that, and you were with
Same.
me. Yep.
But you do know when I got my date, I told you don't make it the same weekend. And sure enough, you come back weeks later going, it's this weekend. And I said, that's my weekend too.
Well, it's just like when you find your spouse. It's like when you know, you know. We found our
Yes,
venue, and it's like when you know, you know. Is the first one.
I get it. But how many multifamily mindset family members were at both of our weddings? And they went from Mexico to Texas,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
for us.
there was a lot. Yeah. We got a family for sure. If you think about it, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I love it. I love this. I love our multifamily mindset family.
Me
But
too.
I let's is there any advice you could give our listeners who are thinking or interested in multifamily investing?
Yeah. Number one, it's a it's a challenging road for sure, but it's 1000% doable. You just need to make sure you're surrounding yourself with an army of people that can help you and that want to see you win. Because, people tell me all the time, like people like they just think because I've gotten over 2,000 units that every deal just comes easy. No, I still struggle on deals to this day. I still use mentors and coaches to this day, and I still even utilize students to this day. We use each other. We complement each other's skill sets, and that's how we win together. Like there's been deals that I've come up short on the capital raises. There's been deals where we needed help with asset management in different states, and because of our community being a little over 4,000 people now strong, like it's just really neat to be able to tap into resources in any area, in any market, at any time. But that's what I would tell you is like it's a challenging business, but it's one of the most rewarding and fulfilling, especially when you have people that are in your corner. Going at it alone can be, yeah, that
Impossible.
yeah, I'm never the type that will tell someone you can't do something, but in this, I would tell you it's going to be 100 times more challenging to go try to pursue it if you do not have this, if you
Or
do not have
close to
what we've built.
impossible. I know you don't
Close
want to
to
say that,
close to
but
impossible. Yeah.
you've been in it long enough and I've been in it long enough to
Yeah.
know we would
To know.
never attempt to do it by ourselves.
No way. Yeah, I would never attempt to. And that's just being a smart investor. That's not having a lack of confidence in my abilities. It's being a smart investor by equipping myself and weaponizing myself with anything and everything I can to go succeed because there's other people's money on the line. And when you can go follow through and perform for them, you feel good. And if you ever don't, well, let's hope you never get there. But if you have an army and a network of people, you won't. So that's the beauty about it. Yeah.
Yes,
My advice, equip
100%.
yourself and surround yourself with people that want to see you win.
Yeah, choose wisely.
And then also don't quit because, that's what I see a lot of people is like, I submitted 27 LOIs before I got my first LOI accepted, which is a letter of intent. And it took me 7 months to get my first deal. And if I would have quit when there were several times where I felt like doing it, trust me, I'm not a quitter, so I didn't quit. But there were a couple times that the emotions were coming into my thoughts, right? And I kept going. I kept pushing. And where other people might have quit, I didn't. And because I didn't, now I got the first one. And then after I closed on the first deal, 10 days later, got an LOI accepted on my second. And that was my first year, 368 units, $37 million of assets under management in year one. And the rest was history. In year two, we acquired over 1,000 units and over $100 million of real estate. And then year three happened, and then year four has begun. It just continued to go up. And so don't quit and surround yourself with people that want to see you win. That's the recipe for success.
Love it. Yes, 100%. Don't quit. Don't quit. I always find once someone gets a few no's, they're just like, I'm done. I'm done. And I said, and the saying goes, every no is one step closer to a yes. And
Yep.
so imagine after 27th LOI, if you're like, done. You would not be where you are. You wouldn't
here.
be 2,400 units in.
No.
And speaking
wouldn't.
of your 2,000 mark, where is the celebration? Because I need an invite for that. That's something worth throwing a party for.
Well, originally our 5-year goal was to be at 2,500 units. And so we are going to celebrate. We're going to wait till we hit 2,500 in less than the 5-year goal. So
Okay, I'll be waiting for my invite. And then I'm gonna bring you on with the team and talk about the 2,500 goal in less than 5 years, because that's gonna be so awesome.
So
your other members of your team, Megan and Brent,
Megan and Brett Davenport. Yep.
you need to give a shout out to them. Come on.
Shout out to them for being the best partners in the world, but also the best in-laws in the world. They're my wife's mom and dad. And yeah, the business, I get a lot of credit for where I not be where it is today without Brett and Megan, not even in the slightest.
Oh, I know that for a fact.
My in-laws, best partners. Yeah, just I don't know where I was going with them, but they're great people.
You have awesome partners.
I have awesome partners
that compliment you.
And our business wouldn't be where it is without them for sure.
100%, because I know you and I know them.
Yep.
Okay, a fun fact about you.
Okay, fun fact.
Well, is it getting that boring you have to yawn?
No, I am just nope, not at all. Okay, fun fact. Let's see. I would tell you I can juggle. That's a fun fact. I also was the intramural ping pong champion at Boise State 2 years in a row. So I'm a closet ping pong player and a damn good
now
one
you've
at
come
that.
out.
Now I've come out. And also, let's see what else is a fun fact. I can do a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. Because I have a big brain.
Okay, we're gonna have to show that in the multifamily mindset minute.
Oh,
I guess we need 2
do
episodes.
2 back-to-back episodes. Yeah. For sure.
Okay, how can our listeners find you?
Okay. I'm all over social media, as we talked about, primarily Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn as well. But you can find me on my website, www.gibbyscapital.com, GIBBYS capital.com. If you go to our About page, you'll see all about my team, my partners, our portfolio, what we've accomplished, and our contact information is there if you ever want to send us an inquiry or just reach out about partnering or investing or any of the above. We're here to help and here to help, everybody win.
Yes, yes. Well, Eric, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate everything you've said. I appreciate you. And thank you, my friends, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our episode with Eric today. Please join us again for more stories, insights, and inspiration. Until then, keep thinking bigger and getting better every day.
Multifamily Mindset.